Hey everybody, it's your boy, Eduardo Jackson, CEO, founder, creator of the Cinema Draft Game, back here once again with fam of the pod, Jay Devlin. Say what's up, Jay Devlin.
Yo, what's up, Eduardo? Good to be back. This is going to be the weirdest recap pod of all time. I'm currently bedridden with nerve damage in my leg and
Oh.
a very badly sprained ankle from an accident. Taking the trash out. So to all the guys out there, don't do chores ever. They're not good for you.
Get you in-house. Get you in-house.
So I'm a little stir crazy, and I'm just ready to get fucking weird. So let's do it.
All right. Let's do it then. Let's get weird. And this week, it was a weird week. We had some issues with scoring, which we acknowledge are bad, but it turned out okay at the end. And I guess I can say it because I won Call Sheet of the Week. What can I say? Yay!
Fixed.
Rigged. No, but what was cool though was that this was a week where the strategy was a bit wide open. We had people like myself on some call sheets trying to entirely fade, the major domo in the house, which was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Then we had a mix of people using Guardians of the Galaxy. We were fools because, as it turned out, on my call sheet of the week, I had a mix, and we'll get to that later. But first, as always, we will concentrate on our winners on our top 5 in the feature presentation. And this week, and it was a true come from behind effort, because if you looked at the weekend estimates, I mean, none of the Bahubalis had counted yet. I actually didn't count at all. I had to go hand scoring, which is
The usual
always
suspects.
yes.
Lurking at the top.
Except, although breaking through is Cornell Westside, and we'll come back to him later because he actually took down another contest. So,
and you know how I read his name every time I see it, right? I've talked about it in the pod before. Cornell Westside.
There it is. There it is.
Always how I read his name.
The froey gap tooth egghead himself. Love that dude.
I picture him dressing like Kyle Lowry dressed for Game 4 of the Raptors series. with a turtleneck with a t-shirt on the outside of the turtleneck, a nice junior fro, a little sport coat, looking super shafty.
Cornell Westside, yes, our working black writer, who I believe will be back next week, not this week, but for next week's pod. Possibly. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. No, he's coming back. Yeah, next week's pod. Sorry, I got my days mixed up. 16th. We're gonna hopefully have a tripod again with he and G Nice. Stay tuned for that. But yes, take a look at Gamble 24x7, Gamble 24/7's call sheet, and he went with what tended to be a bit of conventional wisdom, which is get you a headliner from Guardians of the Galaxy, Zoe Saldana, she's the cheapest, and then get a headliner stack from Bahubali to the conclusion, and then figure it all out. And in his figuring it out, he had Jenny Slate, a headliner from Gifted. He had three non-headliners, and one headliner from Battle of Memories, because at this point he's just punting salary. And then he had a headliner stack from Their Finest. And that was good for 321.85 points, edging out, I believe, was that our boy Ring Balls? Yes, it was Ring Balls 22, edging him out by about 2 points. What do you think of this call sheet, J. Devlin?
I mean, it was the way I was going. If my call sheet for some reason did not get entered, because I went back in to change it. So everybody out there, another reminder: if you go back in to change your call sheet, make sure you re-enter it, because it completely gets taken out of the tournament the minute you go back in to change it. That being said, what is it called? Occam's razor? Is that the term of like sometimes the simplest
answer is the most obvious one? Yeah,
is the correct answer. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt this week. It was 1 Guardians of the Galaxy and 2 of the Indian movie, and then go from there.
Yeah, you're right. Keep it simple, and for what it's worth, I mean, we'll get to my call sheet in a second. I mean, we got close, so it was myself and Michael Vellante out there on an island trying to make this sucker work. Actually, I think Excellent also. Who's also been cashing recently. I think Excellent tried that strategy as well, and just a little bit short. Honestly, all we needed was if we had another million from Bahubali, and it lost 7 screens, but yet it dropped 70% at the box office, which is just bananas.
Hey, you know what I say about that, buddy? If my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. Right?
Yes, that's right. So Ring Balls, he also went along this path, and he was just short in. He went with This Is Not What I Expected, which, you know, as another 3F, which is our foreign focused film. You never know what to expect with some of these films. I mean, I believe it was distributed by the Well Go USA guys, and sometimes they come out the box, you know, they really pop. Sometimes they just fizzle. This was more along the lines of a fizzle. I mean, at 1.96 points, headliners. I mean, this, I don't even think, what did it make? It actually only made 0.2 million. That's not expected. Yeah, so 140,000. Only made 140,000. So, you know, when I mean, it was a good gamble. It was a good risk. Sometimes they can get you, you know, 400, 500,000. So you gambled, didn't pay off in this one. He had a gifted headliner stack, which actually, you know,
Did pretty well.
did pretty well for a pretty shallow limited release category this week. So this is a pretty good, close but no cigar. But, you know, enjoy that 2750 ring balls. Cornell Westside, and this one is a point of personal pride. He's, you know, a working black writer, one of our first, you know, guests on the hour long in its infancy. He's a recurring guest, part of the tripod. You know, a working black writer in Hollywood. Probably, maybe he might have some extra time in his hands, other than not about to go on strike. I don't know, but he came through, damn near took the top spot. Super proud of you, Kevin Garnett. Good job. It was the headliner stack of Bahubali, the conclusion. He had Guardians of the Galaxy, and then what he might have slipped him up was just messing with Unforgettable. Unforgettable was what probably cost him points right there. Anything almost in that price range probably would have sufficed. Beauty of the Beast.
There was a platform $5,000 Asian movie, I believe.
Yeah, they outperformed that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was at headliner status. So yeah, so it was. I mean, anything. I mean, Unforgettable is so forgettable. It's not even the talent pool this week, which is fine. But that was probably his only slip up. Otherwise, I mean, he had some okay bet. Oh, going in style, it's basically just, you know, a salary play there. He's probably running out of salary because he paid up a little bit to get Beauty and the Beast, and then, you know, the Bahubali and Get Out actually didn't. I mean, that's another movie that right now is probably a little too wide for its own good. It's in limited release, but it's just, you know, I mean, it only did another maybe 100-something thousand. No, sorry, another million or something. So.
What movie has been on the call sheets longest in the history of this game? I feel like Get Out has been on here for 5 years.
Man, dude, man, yeah. As far as the talent pool goes, Get Out is pretty long. 10 weeks. I think Hidden Figures was the longest. That one I think went 13 weeks or something. Like, we just could not get rid of that. And maybe I think I got rid of it 1 week and I was like, fuck, I got to put it back on because it did, like, you know, Buffalo numbers for its release type. So yeah. So this is a pretty solid call. She just forget about Unforgettable, but that's okay because we've already forgotten. Hey. And then let's see, fourth place was The Roan. Group chat. Yes, group chat extraordinaire. Our billions cohort. We're with you, my man. Act cap for life. And his was a little bit all over the place, but he had the Troika, the Guardians of the Galaxy and Bahubali headliner stacks, and then yeah, he was all over the place. Buster's Malheart, boo. This is not what I expected. Slight, which continues to underperform, but I still want to see that movie. I still want to see it. It's from the guys that brought us Get Out. Now you've seen Get Out, right?
No, I have not. I don't like. I'm not into like the whole creepy horror-y genre, man. It's just not my steez.
I'm not a horror guy at all either. I've seen this movie twice. It is fun because it's. I mean, when he says like a social thriller, it is. It's not torture porn like Saw and stuff like that. You'd enjoy it. I promise you. Take.
I have a lot of free time on my hands, Ed. So I'm sure I will. I'm currently watching 3 seasons of the show Bosch.
So how's that working out for you?
Once I'm done with Bosch, I will probably move on to something else. Maybe a little Get Out for a little levity.
There you go. Yeah, and big props to Amazon. I mean, they seem to be pushing all their stuff hard right now. So very, you know, kudos to them. Gifted is in there. Buster's, yeah. So basically, he kind of bet on some underperformers right here with Slight and Gifted still was solid though, and Buster's Malheart. That, I mean, God, how bad was that? I think it made like, was it 20,000? Something like super low. I mean, I had to give it the minimum score of 1 and 1.40 for its headliner. So yeah, so but it's a very solid top 5 finish. 1875. No, sorry, 1250. Don't spend it all at once. And then Smart Ash rounding out our top 5. Welcome back to the winner's circle, Smart Ash, one of my favorite new players. Ring Ball's significant other.
Correct.
A family. Was it a couple that drafts together? last forever. All
I
right.
think this was so my call sheet that I didn't resubmit.
Uh-huh.
I think was almost identical to this. It was very close to this.
So you were doubling down on this is not what I expected, huh?
I just was going super cheap and trying to get as much. I wanted some Gifted, and I wanted some Indians, and I wanted some aliens, and then whatever was left over, I didn't care.
There you go. There you go. And basically, what Smart Ash did is she had the Troika, she had Jenny Slate, headliner from Gifted, and then she had a a six pack of This Is Not What I Expected, and I guess lived up to its name because this is not what she expected. It only brought back probably a sum total about maybe 10 points, 12 points between six actors. So, it's not, and actually do not expect it to be in this week's call sheet either, or talent pool either, because it is gone. I always get nervous with movies that open that small, that don't track throughout the weekend, that return such a small result. They might just disappear from movie theaters altogether the following weekend.
I have a movie question for you. You're the smartest movie guy I know.
Okay.
Explain to me this. Riddle me this, Batman. Why is it these Indian movies absolutely fucking crush over and over and over? We've seen it for like 8 months now. It doesn't matter what Indian movie it is. It's like it always does pretty well. But
So,
these Asian movies that are always weekly, in the talent pool, always suck and crash and burn and make no money. Well, what's up with that?
Okay, so just going off the top of my dome without like a ton of professional exposure to this, I'm kind of picking up on these trends.
Just fake it. Act like you're an expert. Don't throw out there, I'm gonna guess. Just say, you know what, Jay? This is exactly why. And then
don't qualify, right? Just go for it. All right. Yeah. I'm a Sean Spicer it. Okay. Yeah. So there's 1 billion people in India, number one. All right. Yeah. And they have a very developed film industry. It's probably outside of Hollywood. It's probably like the closest in the world to like a machine that cranks out movies that they readily support. And in doing a lot of like my social media and light research in doing these talent pools, I come across a lot of just random stuff about this industry that shows it's really robust over there. So I think people over there, either they have relatives or family or friends, whatever, over here, help hype them up. And also what I have noticed, especially with there's a new movie in the talent pool this week called Mary. Oh God, let me see it so I can say it right. Mary. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Mary Pyari Bindu, and it's doing like a day and date worldwide release. So
full stack.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, there's only 5 actors, I could find for it. But yeah, full stack of Mary Pyari Bindu, because it's going to come under the radar and it's going to shock the shit out of all of us. So basically, I would say the fact that, and if you look at like some of these other Asian films, the markets are smaller. They're very regionalized too. South Korea, China. When China puts out a movie, those tend to do a little bit better.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
There's like 1 billion people there too. So
they don't always support each other. So like. Yeah. We tend to think that an Asian movie is just an Asian movie, but like if it's a Japanese movie, it's not going to get supported by the Chinese or the Koreans or whatever, as opposed to what you said about India. India is just one large landmass filled with fucking Indians.
They call it the subcontinent, right? Yes, absolutely. And just like there's more, there's many different types of Latino. Technically, I'm Latino. I'm half Panamanian. So yeah, it's like you can't just say Asia film should do well because of X. So this is actually a real good note for players of the game who want to strategize in the future on those all too critical platform 3Fs, those foreign focused films. Make sure we know the country of origin. Make sure we know if the country of origin generally, has enough heat on it to support it overseas in the United States, and it's kind of go from there.
Well said, Taylor from Billions. They, there, and them. That was nice.
Yes, and I'm gonna sidetrack real briefly before we get into the talent pool for this week. Let's talk some Billions, damn it! I'm primed. That shit was lit. I'm telling everybody, I'm ready to watch it 2-3 times again. That shit was awesome. It was a great way to end an epic season. I hope it wins all the awards. I'm part of AXCAP. I'm ready to be under the wing of Taylor and their prowess.
I'm a huge zigger when people zag. I generally don't like to follow the crowd. That being said, this is like one of the few shows I can remember, like off the top of my head, that there's not one bad word being said about it. It's almost unanimous. how great this show is. And every year, one of the hardest things, and you're a writer, a lot of guys that are in the Cinema Draft game and listen to the podcast are writers. One of the hardest things to do as a writer is tie something up and end a season while leaving it open ended.
Yes.
It's just very hard. You look at all like the ends of seasons are get criticized like to no end. 2 years in a row, they have absolutely nailed it. First season, Axe Capital gets physically taken down.
Yes.
End of the second season, Axe Capital emotionally taken down.
Yes. So wise man once tweeted that. Yes.
Yeah, it's genius.
It's. I mean, it's just. I'm losing my words here because it was so excellent. The writing is great and everything. I mean, like my tweet streams Sunday evenings are just like billions quotes, whatever. And to their credit, Koppelman and Levine, they follow social media. They all like certain ones, occasionally retweet you and stuff or interact. I mean, it's just great. I mean, I think it's type of show that, especially once it hits the streaming services too, while it's down for like, I guess the next 12 or 10 months, 9 months, whatever, until it comes back. It's the type of show that will pick up steam on the streaming services. People will kind of be discovering it like they did with Breaking Bad, when they would be down between seasons, and it will just kind of grow and grow. The writing was excellent. I mean, just for any medium, quite honestly, the writing was excellent. It was layered. It was fun. It was insouciant. It's all sorts of.
What was that word again? Obsoucient?
No, insouciant. Kind of like
insouciant.
Yeah, kind of like off the cuff and like irreverent. Just kind of it was always kind of winking at you. I loved that shit. So yeah, I really
give me a couple highlights from the season. Like give me who was your favorite character? Who was your
let's
do an award season.
I'm a
MVP.
cliche. All right, MVP is Taylor, of course. I'm a cliche, but I just loved how they brought a hot button issue in society today. The whole gender identification. You're seeing it seep into a lot of different areas of society, but I thought they did it in a very smart, very effective way that felt natural to the world without like preaching, a morality per se. You had to accept this person as a person and the gender choice that they have, and so but beneath that. Taylor was a very interesting character because, I relate to Taylor because I know a lot of these kind of. Actually, let me find a picture of Taylor now. I'm talking.
Well, the thing about the gender identity, I think they were making
good.
fun of it. If we're being honest, that's how I took it. I think they were just like, it's so fucking stupid. All this gender identification crap and genderless awards that they give out on MTV. The thing that was great about Taylor was
they actually took it very seriously, and that's why Taylor resonated with a lot of people. I like on the DOJ side, yeah, they were kind of poking fun, but inside Axe Cap, they took Taylor totally serious.
Well, but that's my point. You didn't let me finish. My point was this: what they did do was show that Wall Street, or almost everything in life, is a meritocracy. She earned her keep. She wasn't just there as like some freak show gender identification person. She went in there and absolutely kicked ass. She was a fucking intern, and then by the end of the season, she was kicking so much ass. You were rooting for her, and she took over.
Yeah,
you forgot about all that other crap around her. You're just like, that's a kick-ass chick, killing it.
Yeah, and just so people aren't confused especially on the podcast version, when I refer to Taylor in their preferred pronouns, because the first time we meet Taylor walks into Axe Cap and into Bobby Axelrod's office, the head of the hedge fund,
Bob
yeah,
Axelrod.
My name is Taylor. My preferred pronouns are they, their, and them.
She was Taylor. She was awesome. My MVP was Wags. I couldn't get it.
That honestly, it could be 1 and 1A. I mean, absolutely, Wags is awesome too.
Wags,
aka David Costabile, who had a career season.
He just had like, his arc was just so incredible. This from like being lost in the beginning to coming back and kicking ass.
He was taking mobile IV fluid. He was so fucked up.
IVs, and then the fucking scene in the sushi restaurant was next level amazing. Just so random and one-off, and like he absolutely blew it out of the park. Awesome scene. Somebody go Google or YouTube it if you haven't seen it. And then the scene, dude, where she finds him when Wendy Rhodes finds him just laying there, ass in the air with a fucking tattoo on his ass, naked. God bless.
I have no idea how that got there.
Yeah. Wags, every scene Wags was in was just like
electric.
It was electric. So Wags is my MVP. Least valuable.
Yeah, and I tweeted to the billions of people, whatever, how far like David Costavila's come as I mean, I'm sure he's always had multitudes to him as an actor. He's a good actor, but how he was Gale in freaking Breaking Bad, squirrely, mousy little Gale, the little scientist who got whacked, and now he's like just kicking ass, taking names, Mike Wags Wagner, who's getting like mobile IV fluid because he had, he's entertaining clients at strip clubs all night. It's just funny to watch, people, actors you love in different roles, iconic roles even sometimes, make
It
themselves
takes a
iconic.
lot of charisma to pull that role off. Like
Absolutely.
not just any, I mean, and he pulls it off like without fail, zero bumps in the road.
Yeah.
Kudos to that guy. Least valuable.
Kudos to the casting director of Billions. I mean, no, that's where a lot of these shows can be made is casting. Who's the casting director of this thing? Because this thing is perfectly cast. I know you don't like, you don't like Wendy or something, which I think is just wrong. I love Maggie Siff. She's excellent.
She's growing. I like Maggie Siff. She's growing on me. Like I said, I just will always remember her. I can't get Sons of Anarchy out of my head.
Oh no, that was like.
But that's a good segue into the least valuable player, which is almost unanimous. And I don't want to jump on the bandwagon.
Okay.
But everybody is just crying about how bad Laura Axelrod is.
Laura
Ackerman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
say loyalty. That. Where's the loyalty?
I don't hate her as a character. I think she kicks ass in the show. I think she's fantastic.
I mean, I actually like what they did with her. I don't like, the result because obviously we're pulling for Axe to be the guy, right? And to have his ride or die chick with him because she's been ride or die up to this point. But I mean, that's something about like relationships that you'd probably know better than I would because you're in one and been in a long-standing one for a while. Is that once trust is gone, once trust is broken, it's kind of hard to get back.
And you're seeing it on both ends. You're seeing it with Chuck and with Bob Axelrod. I mean, the balance of career and just wanting to push forward and succeed, and then balancing your relationship at home with kids. I mean, it's not tough. If both these guys had these picture perfect relationships, it would be fucking so stupid.
Yeah, and boring, and not realistic either. I mean, because that's the thing about people in power. People who excel at anything, and people who get like great power or fame or celebrity, or whatever.
Get him, Spider-Man. Get him.
They always have.
With great power comes great responsibility.
It's not even responsibility. It's that they usually have atypical lives. Like I actually had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend, and she was kind of questioning like just all the extremes I was going to keep cinema to get cinema draft running and to keep it running. And I was like, look, what I'm going for, is outside the norm. I mean, people don't start up gaming companies every day, and there's a reason for it because it's hard and you have to do a lot of different stuff. But once you get to where you're trying to go, or even beyond, it takes a certain type of mentality, and these guys have it. And that's why I really loved Lara for him, because it seemed like she had it, and maybe she still does, but she was really shaken by all it was one lie. It was a pivotal lie, but it was one lie, and that shook the whole foundation of the relationship. And that, to me, I think is actually realer than anything else, because relationships are good ones are built on trust. And if that's really shaken, it's going to take some time to come back.
On a deeper level, I think what's so great about that is this, though, the fact that Axe got to where he got by being unscrupulous and nefarious and like every other OUS word you can think of, but he was always true to his wife. And all it took was this one little lie to break the trust. To me, that tells me that Axe was a great husband to her for the entirety of their marrige.
Yeah, so as far as we can tell, he never cheated or anything. He was just like straight arrow. Like that one scene in Montreal last season, I think he was like, "Nah, I'd love to, but I think I'm good."
Exactly. If their relationship was just like based on just lies and deception, she would have just been like, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want, and the show would have gone on. I think it was an underlying testament to what a great husband and father Axe was to his kids, because we've never ever seen otherwise in these 2 seasons.
Oh, and that scene where he said goodbye to the kids because he's going to jail, and this. Oh man, that was great. That was a great little scene, only because it was seeing a side of Axe we rarely see, but it's also like a parent being no bullshit with kids who are, barely old enough to understand the consequences of life. It was honest. This season.
Dude, meanwhile, Chuck Rhodes is out there wrestling with women in kung fu matches, getting fucking stilettos put on his chest by fucking random women.
Discussing casual pegging with Mary Louise Parker. That was
exactly having all male orgies at his exclusive all men's club with a bunch of 70-year-old dudes playing pool. I mean, he's a fucking deviant. Axe is a saint compared to Chuck Rhodes. I am Team Axe. I want Axe to crush Chuck Rhodes. End of story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. That is our billions hashtag cultural cul-de-sac. All right. So let's take and also, and this wrapping up this week's action, I like to take a call sheet from someone outside the norm that we usually focus on. And this week's, we will highlight our new player, Kiana. Friend of mine. Glad to see she's finally able to get into the game, and I was really excited for her because through Sunday, without having Bahubali update, it seemed like she was gonna be third, and I was very excited for her. But of course, once final scoring was in, and that's part of the excitement and also the misery of the game is that your fortunes can change drastically from day to day as the estimates become actuals. And she did finish in the lower tier, but let's take a look at her call sheet and see what she can improve on. First of all, I do like all of those headliners. She has 8 headliners, so she got that. She grasped that portion of the game. She has the Guardians of the Galaxy headliner, which is very smart. She even has How to Be a Latin Lover, which wasn't too bad either. And where she loses, and Beauty and the Beast might be a little long in the tooth, but you're still getting some decent value with those points, 7.13 and 5.09 points from 2 Beauty and the Beast actors. And where she kind of went off a little bit was Buster's Malheart, which drew flies. Going in Style, which was, albeit headliners, also drew flies. And then Battle of Memories, another foreign-focused film that we knew very little about, gave us very little in return. So otherwise, I think she did a pretty good call. What do you think about this beginner effort?
It's one of the better beginner efforts we've seen. I mean, we've seen some absolutely horrific call sheets, people drafting.
Nice. Sorry.
People from like E.T. and Back to the Future and movies that haven't been in theaters in 40 years. So this is pretty good. It's nice work by Kiana, man. Welcome to the club. And
yes. Join our group chat if you want. Make some side bets. Enjoy the dialogue. All right. And so yes, let's take a look at this week's talent pool. This is last week. This week's talent pool. We have 8. Count them. 8 new movies coming out this weekend, or are coming into the talent pool this weekend. We had to replace some, get some new ones. Very excited. A lot of diversity. We think Dead Awake will be limited. That looks like a bit of a horror movie. I'm guessing it's gonna be about 600 screens. The Wedding Plan, I think it's an Israeli film, so that's one's also gonna be on the lower end of platform.
Not a big enough country, as we talked about earlier. Geographically, not a big enough country. If you're gonna pick a foreign film, make sure there's a lot of people living in that country.
or that they have a very robust and active American counterpart in movie going culture. I don't know. And actually piggybacking off that, Lowriders, which comes out on 275 screens, to me is my sleeper pick of the week. Only because, first of all, everyone loves cars. Everyone knows a little bit about the lowrider lifestyle, especially if you live in Southern California at any point stretch of time. It's got Demian Bashir, who's a huge Mexican star, Eva Longoria, who's a Mexican American star, and it's decently cast. And I think on 275 screens, playing mostly to Latino and Hispanic households, I think, or households, not TV, audiences, I think it really has a decent shot. I kind of hedged on the pricing, starting at 6,500, going to 7,300, but I think Lowriders is a good shot. What do you think of his prospects, Jay Devlin?
I mean, you could have said the same thing about Fast and the Furious 1 when it came out. It was kind of like a counterculture thing that was happening that nobody knew about. People do love cars. I don't think Eva Longoria holds the same appeal that a young Paul Walker with a baby blue eyes holds. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna go see it, but you never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm probably not going to see it either, but I really think it's got breakout potential in the platform release category, especially if
it's platform, absolutely.
If Bahubali slows down, and I could honestly see, I mean, actually, what do we guesstimate was going to be for this weekend? Bahubali, I guess it'd shed about another 100 screens, whatever. I mean, look, it still could be good for a million and a half, whatever. But I mean, it got all its money that first weekend, which we didn't have in the talent pool, and for that, I'll forever kick myself. But because the scoring on that week would have been bananas. But so Bahubali is still viable in platform release category. I think Lowriders, and I've seen at least one trailer for it. I think it's got some breakout potential. How to Be a Latin Lover, that's price been reduced because we're going to see some shedding of screens this week as well. Estimate of 900 screens. But let's talk about some of the new films. That's right. Jasmine. This also is another 3F. I believe it's Korean in origin. It's been out for a while in the festival circuit too, so
Wait,
I don't
are we
expect much out of it.
at North Korean or South Korean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's South Korean.
Okay,
I don't even think North Koreans have a robust outside.
you just want to cross the T's, dot the I's, man. Want to make sure we're putting out the good info.
Man, if it was North Korean, that'd be something. That would be something. King Arthur, yes, and I saw King Arthur on a on a. It's because I guess I'm such an avid fan of the Galaxy Theaters in near North Las Vegas with the D-box seats. I got an invite to a special free screening. I went last night, took a friend. We enjoyed the hell out of it. It's very fun and exciting. I would give it 3 out of 4 reels only because it gets a little too overly CGI at the end. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of action. Charlie Hunnam season. We are in Hunnam season. Damn it, he is charismatic, cocky, flirty, arrogant. I mean, it's
great head of hair. I mean,
yeah,
you know how I feel about a great head of hair.
that's right. A leading man's worthy head of hair. He's it's all you could hope for the most part. It's a little too much on the CGI. Oh, and it's got Jude Law, the young Pope. Love the young Pope acting. I mean, he didn't even change an expression from his young Pope performance to this performance. The same guy, same guy. Can't Lord Vortigern or whatever, and young Pope, same guy. Casual arrogance, aloof, sneering down at the public. I love it. It's
so
awesome.
basically just Jude Law in real life is what.
Shots fired.
Hey, Jude Law is an all-time stick man. So props and respect to Jude Law. All right.
He does get his work in. All right. And then in one other movie, and then also the Indian movie Mary Pyari Bindu, as we mentioned earlier, it should be a big hit. And this one, the biggest puzzle of the weekend is Snatched.
Is that like Taken 4? Like they weren't taken, they were snatched?
It was.
I don't understand.
By the way, Taken the TV show, not a bad series. Not a bad series.
Okay.
Just ended its first season of 10 episodes. No, but Snatched is actually the Amy Schumer, Goldie Hawn comedy. And on paper, it sounds great. I've heard early rumblings in the group chat from Ring Balls, whose inside edge is that he works in a movie theater. Get your edge when you can. Said that it didn't seem like it wasn't playing very well. I've heard mixed reviews. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I priced it accordingly. Kind of middle of the road. But with the pedigree of Paul Feig or whatever, same guy behind The Heat and other female-centric comedies. I like his track record. I think it's going to do well, but I can't call it right now. I'm waiting for Box Office Pro to come out on Wednesday with their tracking wisdom to lead the way.
You couldn't pay me $5,000 to go see anything involving Amy Schumer.
Ooh,
that's my take. That is my take. I find her incredibly unattractive, which is not a great place to start. But I can overlook unattractiveness if you have a great deal of talent, which she does not possess either.
I totally disagree.
And then combine that with her idiotic ideologies and feelings on the world, and then that's the trifecta of I'm out. I hope this movie bombs. I hope she's working at a Dairy Queen in Davenport, Iowa by mid-July. End of story.
I personally love Amy Schumer. I think she's average hot, medium hot, whatever. Not that matters, but if we're going on attractiveness, I think she's okay. And I think she's very talented. I love her inside Amy Schumer. I season pass the show when it's on. Not sure when it's coming back because she's a movie star now, but I wish her all the success in the world. I just don't know if it'll be on my call sheet. We'll have to see how things shake out. And I generally tend not to come to a concrete strategy until Thursday evening anyway. So what do I know? So
you want the new Charlie's Angels to have Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, and who's the Will and Grace girl? What's her name?
Deborah Messing.
Is that your ideal Charlie's Angels?
Well, no, that's not my ideal Charlie's Angels, but it'd be funny. It'd be funny as hell.
It would be.
It'd be funny. I'll say that much.
It would be funny as hell.
Will and Grace is funny. Will and Grace is funny. Don't hate.
If I watched that movie on mute with a bottle of Wild Turkey 151 IV in my arm, I would probably find it very, very funny.
Okay, we're keeping it moving, and
Keep it moving.
and the wall, which we only have about 4 credited actors. And mind you, for those who go to the talent pool in the next couple hours, from when this we'll probably end up posting, we may have a few actors missing. I'll be adding those hopefully overnight, manually. Sometimes the system catches them, sometimes it doesn't. The wall actually looks interesting. I want to see it. It's directed by Doug Lyman. It's basically, it might as well be a play. It might have been based off a play for all I know. But the wall has
John
John
Cena.
Cena and Aaron
Damn.
Taylor Johnson. They're pinned down in like Afghanistan or something, trapped by a lethal sniper, and the sniper's like on the radio taunting them. And so it sounds like a real big
I love
mind
it.
fuck. I mean, and Doug Lyman, man. I mean,
So it's kind of like the phone booth with Kiefer Sutherland, where Colin Farrell is trapped in a spot being tortured by a
was
sniper.
Kiefer Sutherland the villain? I totally forgot who the villain was. I always remember
was.
Colin Farrell. I never remember Kiefer Sutherland.
It was supposed to be Ron Eldard, and then 24 popped real hard, and they replaced Eldard with Kiefer.
Oh wow!
And Kiefer killed it.
Yeah, that interesting. Wow, someone saw his phone booth. I saw that in the theater like ages ago.
Same kind of premise though. Like guys are trapped somewhere and they're
yep.
being tortured by a sniper.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so those are our new releases this weekend. We'll just go into a little more in depth during our recording, which I will be doing later on tonight with a special guest from my from my say I guess my college days, whatever, post college, whatever. We'll be going into that in the shot list later on tonight. And yeah,
can I bring up one question? Since I said we're gonna get weird.
Okay,
and I'm going crazy. I got to ask you, since this is a movie podcast and we're talking about movies, what did you think about the Emma? What's her name? Emma, the chick from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Emma Watson.
Emma Watson winning a genderless or whatever they called it on the MTV Movie Awards. What'd you think about that? What was your take?
I think know your audience, and MTV knows its audience. MTV Movie Awards is always pandered to younger people. I mean, they pandered to us when we were younger, and they just kind of keep they will never. It's why you never see anyone over 30 generally on The Real World. It's just that's what they do. So for millennials and sub millennials, whatever the generation
sub millennial. Oh my God.
Whatever generation AA, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I mean,
what was your personal takeaway? Like, what did you think? As you've watched the award ceremony.
Well, I mean,
this is going to start happening.
Well, I don't know if I doubt we'll see this in the Oscars. There's just too much tradition and whatever. I honestly think it's cool. I think it's cool because
why is it cool?
Well, first of all, I mean, if we're gonna talk or delve even a little bit into politics, I'm obviously
this is not political. We're talking about movies.
But I'm saying the thing behind it it's cultural, which sometimes bleeds into political. But as a quote unquote bleeding heart liberal from the Pacific Northwest, whatever, I mean anything that allows people to feel more included in society or to feel like they have more respect, whatever, I'm all for. And so if the MTV Awards, if they felt they would be more inclusive, by making their awards genderless, then fine. So to me, it's like. Let me tell you what it's like. It's like in poker, right?
I triggered you. I love it.
It's like in poker. Seriously, there are no barriers or restrictions to entry in poker outside a little bit of money, and even that, it's like if you're good, you can grind that up. It doesn't matter what's between it. All that matters is what's between your ears. You don't have to be
meritocracy, like I said earlier in the show.
The meritocracy, right? So if you're good, no matter what your nationality or gender, whatever, you will somewhat get recognized. And I'm pretty sure when they do the poker awards and stuff, and there's no like big, one dominating, organization that does it, but all the poker awards, they do it by, they don't. I mean, they generally do it by poker player. So it's
okay. Let me ask you a question then. How many women have won Poker Player of the Year awards, Ed? Zero, I'm guessing.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure Vanessa Phelps won something. I mean,
But like we're talking about best actor or best. My point is this:
right?
If you're trying to be inclusive and make people feel better or whatever, by having awards like that, you've just cut out half of the awards. So less people are going to win awards. There's more male actors than women actors. You're in essence creating more inequality by doing something like this. They
I,
obviously just
or you're saying that, or
mathematically, more men are going to win this award than
you're,
women are.
you're absolutely not creating more inequality. That's
Oh,
but
I
as far,
disagree.
as far as creating less awards, sure, you're probably. I mean, if you do everything.
Award shows are stupid anyway, but
Well, yeah, they are stupid. They are definitely stupid. But if you're creating less awards, then yes, that you're creating less awards. By math, you're absolutely right. But as far as if you just want to get to a point where you're just comparing performances across the divide, I'm for it. It's different. It's interesting. It's got us talking about it, unexpectedly. So I'm here for it. Yeah, it's not
Well,
bad.
unexpectedly is the best way to talk about things. When you can't be prepared for your responses, you're going to get a less measured response, which is what I'm always searching for. I want to know what's on the
And,
tip
and,
of everybody's lobe. Like
and
what's
that's why
ready to
you're
come
good at
out.
what you do. You and your Mostly Sports podcast. Go ahead, plug your ish as we bring this in for
The
landing.
huge Mostly Sports Mondays 12 to 2, UBN Radio, iHeartRadio. Visit our Twitter page at Mostly Sport. Go to the basketballtournament.com. Vote for Mostly Sports on that. We're playing in a $2 million basketball tournament in July in Las Vegas.
I voted.
We will be on ESPN. We will be the oldest team in the tournament. And I promise to, if I don't score 20 or 25, I promise to at least take 25 shots.
Or after the game, take me out to a court and score 25 right in my grill.
Since we're playing in Vegas, I'm going straight to the blackjack table in my uniform.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'd like to give a shout out on my way out to Jane the Pain. Jane the Pain Miller, my Pilates instructor. She is now a new listener to the podcast. I'm shouting her out. Welcome. I will also shout you out this evening when we record the hour long. I appreciate you listening and announcing it to the class this morning. That was kind of cool because we had maybe 30 women and 2 guys, and I am definitely after the female demographics. Women, come play our game. We love you all. We'd like to see more women playing daily fantasy, anything. So, and that's pretty much it for the podcast today. It made some interesting cultural cul-de-sacs. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely tell all your friends to go to cinemadraft.co. That is cinemadraft.co to sign up for free. We have these free rolls every week. $260, I think, all in each week. We also give a $25 bonus to the top scoring call sheet. That is not mine. Beat my sheet. Also subscribe on YouTube, or also if you want to watch us, and also iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your great podcasts. And of course, until the next podcast, so we're here again, go see a movie or something.